All right, let's just jump right in. Have you ever really, truly stopped to think about where a thought comes from? I don't mean what you're thinking about, but the actual physical thing of a thought. How does our body, this collection of bones and muscle and nerves, create something as abstract as an idea? Well, today we are diving deep into the science of the neural mind, using the incredible work of Lakoff and Narayanan to figure out how our entire body, not just our brain, literally builds our reality from the ground up.
It all kind of starts with this classic, funny line from the Marx Brothers. Chico asks, "Who are you going to believe, me or your own eyes?" And for most of our lives, the answer seems completely obvious, right? You believe your eyes. Seeing is believing. Simple.
But here's the twist, and it's a big one. The science of the neural mind tells us that what we see isn't a perfect photograph of the world. Nope, it's an active construction, something our brain builds in real time. So the answer to Chico's question is, well, it's complicated, because sometimes what you see isn't what's really there.
So how on earth is this even possible? It all comes down to a process that's happening so fast and so deep inside our brains that we have zero conscious awareness of it. See, our brains aren't just passive cameras recording the world. They're more like tireless film directors, constantly editing and creating the movie of our reality. The technical term for this is unconscious neural integration. It sounds complicated, but it just means your brain is a master mixer. Before you're even aware that you've seen or heard something, your brain has already grabbed those signals and started blending them together. And the absolute best way to see this in action is with a truly mind-bending illusion.
Okay, get ready for this. It's called the McGurk effect. Imagine you're watching a video of someone clearly mouthing the sound ga ga ga. But the audio that's actually playing is ba ba ba. Now, what do you hear? It's wild, but most people hear da da da, a sound that doesn't exist. Your brain took the visual information from the mouth shape, mashed it up with the audio, and just invented a compromise. That is your brain building your perception on the fly.
All right, so if our perception is a construction, what are the building blocks? What's the raw material for our thoughts? Well, the answer isn't some abstract logic. The answer, it turns out, is our own physical bodies. Let's start with the most basic blueprints of all. Schemas. An image schema is basically a simple, recurring pattern that your mind learns from physically interacting with the world. We're not talking about complex philosophy here. We're talking about the most fundamental feelings, like being inside something, or moving along a path, or something blocking your way. These are the absolute bedrock of thought.
For example, take the container schema. From the second we're born, we experience being in or out of things. We're in a room, in our mother's arms. We put food in our mouths. We take a toy out of a box. This super basic physical experience creates a mental blueprint that we then use to understand tons of other things, like being in trouble, or falling in love, or putting ideas into a sentence.
Okay, so if schemas are the bricks, then the next level up is something called a conceptual frame. Think of a frame as the whole house. It's a richer, more complex mental structure that organizes everything we know about a common situation. It's basically a mental shortcut. For example, the moment you walk into a coffee shop, you don't have to figure everything out from scratch. Your brain just loads the cafe frame. Instantly, you know the roles, barista, customer. You know the props, coffee, tables. You know the script, you order, you pay, you get your drink. And just as important, you know what doesn't belong. If you see a tiger behind the counter, that violates the frame, and your brain flags it immediately. All of this happens in a fraction of a second, completely unconsciously. Okay, so our minds use these physical blueprints to understand the world we can see and touch. But what about the stuff we can't? What about abstract ideas like justice or time or love? This, right here, is where things get really fascinating. This is the core aha moment of it all.
The brain's secret weapon for this is the conceptual metaphor. And listen, this isn't about being poetic or writing flowery language. This is a fundamental tool for thinking. Our brain literally understands abstract concepts by mapping them onto the physical experiences we already know inside and out. It's how we make sense of the intangible.
The most famous example is argument is war. Just think about the words we use. You win or lose an argument, you attack someone's position, you defend your claims, you shoot down their points. We're not just being dramatic. Our brain is literally running the logic of a disagreement using the mental framework of a physical battle. And once you start looking for this, you see it everywhere. It is absolutely pervasive. When you say, we're close to our goal, you're using the idea that a purpose is a physical destination. When you say, I can't swallow that claim, you're treating ideas like food.
This isn't a cute trick of language. This is the very structure of how we think about abstract things. It's all built on our physical lives.
And this connection between our body and our mind, it goes all the way down. I mean, all the way down to the very sounds that come out of our mouths. Language isn't just some random code we invented. In so many ways, it's a kind of neural art, where the meaning of a word is physically reflected in the sound itself.
This cool idea is called sound symbolism. It's the theory that for a lot of words, the actual physical motions your mouth and tongue and lips make to create the sound actually mirror the word's meaning. The meaning is literally motivated by the physical shape of the sound.
Now, you have to try this to really get it. Say the sound blow. Words like blow, blast, blob. Feel that? Your lips push air outward in a little explosion. Now try the ip sound. Clip, drip, slip. It's a short, quick motion that comes to a sudden stop. What about cla? Clap, clasp, clutch. Your tongue moves to bring things together in the back of your mouth. It's not an accident. It's this deep, physical connection between an action and its name.
So, when you put all of this together, what do you get? You get a picture of the mind that is not some abstract computer floating in your skull. Our minds are profoundly, fundamentally, and I think beautifully embodied. And understanding this changes everything, especially how we think about our own intelligence versus the artificial kind. A human mind is embodied. It's felt. We think in metaphor because we have bodies that experience things like warmth and pressure and movement. We live experiences. And AI, no matter how powerful, is algorithmic. It processes patterns. It learns from massive amounts of data. It can get incredibly good at predicting the next word in a sentence, but it has never actually felt anything. It can simulate, but it can't live. It doesn't understand meaning because it doesn't have a body to ground that meaning in.
And that's really the key takeaway here. Your mind isn't just the 3 pounds of gray matter in your skull. It's a living, breathing conversation between your neurons, your body, and the world around you. It's in your heartbeat when you're scared. It's in the gestures you make with your hands. It's in the metaphors you use without even realizing it. To understand the mind is to understand what it means to be fully and physically human.
So we've seen that our perception is a construction. We've seen that our concepts are built from physical blueprints. And we've seen that even our most abstract ideas are grounded in the simple reality of having a body. Which leaves us with one last, pretty profound question to chew on. If thought is truly physical, rooted in the neural circuits of our bodies, what does that make an idea?